Have you ever encountered a hurdle with launching or growing your business? Listen, there are two things that run a business, the back end and your soft skills.
Telling you right now, if these aren't in place, you'll lose clients and you'll lose money. You don't want that? Well, you're in the right place.
Hey, I'm Dana.
Hey, I'm Sarah.
We're your hosts of the Entrepreneur Encounter, and we're going to give you a behind-the-scenes glance into our businesses, give you genuine feedback, tips and tricks, plus occasionally bring on guests that care about supporting you to grow your business organically and nurturing authentic relationships. Are you ready? Welcome back, listeners, to another fun-filled and hopefully not stressful episode. What is stress? Let's start with that. By definition, stress is a state of worry or mental tension caused by a difficult situation. Does this sound like life to anybody?
Oh, this has been our life this morning.
Yes. Stressful situations or mental tension comes from managing 4 children and trying to record a podcast in a quiet background, or having one laptop work and the other does not work, and so you have to switch it out. But it is a natural human response, everyone, when faced with these challenges, to feel some sort of tension. Everyone is going to experience it at some point in their life, whether you run a business, whether you have one child, whether you have 10 children, whether you have no children and you just work for someone else and you're trying to balance both things of launching a business and still work a full-time job. Like, there's so many different variables that can go into stress and how we handle it. So now the way that you respond to stress is what makes all the difference. Last week, hopefully you tuned in, but we talked about techniques and factors. So we do encourage you, if you missed it, to go back and check it out. But today, Sarah and I are going to dive a little bit deeper to give you a better understanding of what stress actually is and the impact it has on us as entrepreneurs.
So, real life example, like a lot of the technical difficulties that we were having this morning trying to record this. And I think that we handled it pretty well. I mean, some people handle stress different ways. And we could have gotten like super upset and said, screw it, let's not record today. But like, we're determined and we want to get this done and we want everybody to be able to have this information. So that is just like a real life example. So again, like everybody reacts differently. Some people go with the flow and just ride it out. Sometimes people just throw their arms up in the air and just give up because it's so stressful. We had received some questions regarding stress in the workplace, as a business owner, entrepreneur. And some of those questions are, 1, how does stress impact workplace productivity? 2, what are the main sources of stress in a business environment? And 3, what signs should you look for in your team that may have stress? And how can businesses create a stress-free work environment? Now, stress can definitely impact your work productivity. I mean, more often than not, when you're stressed, your work is more prone to error, poor performance, burnout, which can lead to conflict in the workplace. Now, not everybody is going to have that conflicts because some businesses may have the support and some may not. For example, I remember when I was working in office and we had a very small staff and we were all running around wearing many hats trying to get the work done, but there was so much to get done, which leads to stress, and work performance ended up going down. But you have to figure out a way for that not to happen in the workplace. So as a leader, you lead by example. I mean, stress is going to happen. It's part of life. But if you end up making it a negative thing, then things are not going to go the way that you want them to go.
So I think like how stress impacts the workplace, another thing is it doesn't just stay at work. Whether you work for someone else and you go into an office or you work remotely from home, it definitely starts to impact various other areas in your life. I really liked from a few episodes back where we kind of talked about it being a web. So everything is connected. And if one gets pulled, the others kind of get tugged a little bit. So you kind of have to, with the balance, kind of pull it back a little bit. And If you notice that your house isn't staying as clean, well, maybe you are focused, you're stressed out about something at work, which is keeping you at your desk more, and you're not able to step away and take care of the other things, or you have too much on your calendar and not enough blank space. So you have, like my calendar today is probably the busiest it's been in a while. So it does feel overwhelming, but it's not normally like this. I had a meeting at 8 a.m. We tried to report this podcast at 8:30. And then I have like a clarity call with someone at 10. So as soon as we get done with this, I have to hop onto that. Well, actually, I have to drive to that, which is unusual for me since I do work from home. But then I have back-to-back meetings in between doing client work on top of my own Dana's Desk tasks where I want to be the CEO of my own business. And I'm still in that transition of having a fully supportive team doing the client work so I can continue to market and grow my business. It's a lot of webs, a lot of strings to kind of put together and like keep it balanced. So that impact, it can flow not just into your professional life, but definitely into your personal, which then it's another vicious cycle. It falls back into your professional life because you weren't able to reduce the overwhelm if you can't recognize what's happening.
And I think when you start to recognize what is happening and you recognize that you are stressing and you see that it's pouring over into your personal life, I think that's the time when you just need to take a step back and just lean into your support system, whether that be your family, your friends, the networking groups that you may be a part of, just having open dialogue and just having those conversations with other people because you're not alone. You're not the only one that is stressing. So if you talk to somebody about what's going on, even as, just events, that helps you just get everything, and then whoever you talk to could give you suggestions and advice and tell you hey, I'll help you, or this is what I do to combat the stress. So it's very important that you can do that and talk to somebody. And then if for some reason you don't have that support system, that's why we're here. We want to help you in all aspects that we can.
Yeah, so in our audience, if there's anyone that's new to checking us out, then shameless plug. We do have a Facebook group and now a LinkedIn group. So no matter what platform you prefer to be on, we are showing up to be that support system. I feel like we should do almost take a moment of silence or a moment of clarity of really thinking about what the main sources of stress are. For me right now, I think it's the demands of being a CEO while also still trying to wear the hat of a virtual assistant because I have too much going on. I'm doing too much client work and not enough client strategy. I'm implementing more than I am strategizing. And so it's difficult to do both. So I'm hiring a team and outsourcing it to get that help, which is also stressful because I have to train that team member or the team members. So then that just temporarily does have an additional demand on myself. But I know in the long run, it's going to be better. Do you think about other ideas and things that could be going on? Do you have enough support within your organization? Is there enough information of how to do your job? Or are you interested in pivoting into another role? Is there information on how to do that successfully? Do you even fully understand your roles and responsibilities? Is there a standard operating procedure, SOPs in place to help you know what to do, what's expected, who to ask questions? Is there open door policy, open lines of communication with various members of the team? How does that look? Do you feel like the hours are not aligning? You don't have the ability to be as creative as you wanted to be. Whatever the case may be, definitely share them in the comments because we would love to help reduce those lines of stress or come up with an outside way of thinking. So some things that we've put together and with signs to look for when you're working with a team where there might be stress that no one's really noticing, but their actions are saying otherwise. Are mood swings. Are they kind of withdrawn from the project? Have they lost motivation to finish it? Do you feel like their confidence has changed? Are they no longer confident in the ability to do their work? That could not necessarily be a business environment stress, but maybe something's going on in their personal life. Are they a little bit more sensitive than they used to be? Again, that could be more of a personal stemming into the professional, but checking in with them, think about as the CEO of your business, whether you are a business of one or a small team of remote virtual assistants, how can you create a stress-free work environment?
So what you can do to actually help create a stress-free work environment is open dialogue, which is communication. Have a conversation with the people that you work with. Now, part of a role that I do for a team is like a team success manager, into which I have these meetings individually with team members one-on-one, making sure that they have everything that they need set up for success. Because typically, when the business owner has a team of 3+ people and there's a lot going on, and a lot of the times as a CEO, business owner, you're the one that is client facing. You're the one that is getting the sales and, having the client calls and all that stuff. And it's not necessarily putting your team on the back burner. It's not that. It's just that there's not enough time in the day because you're trying to take care of your clients, you're trying to get new work, and then now you have a team. So that's where I would come in and have these conversations with the team, be the middle person, so to speak, and making sure that everybody is set up for success, no matter what role they're in. Having the conversations and meeting one-on-one with people that could help reduce the stress in the workplace. Another thing I think would be pretty cool to do is incorporate exercise. I know one of the episodes, Dana, you had talked about the breathing app,
yes,
which I think is pretty cool. So let's say that obviously a lot of us are on the online space and we have a team of people. Let's say that you're in a meeting. Okay, get up for 2 minutes and stretch your legs, because we're all constantly sitting down. So we have to be able, get up and move around. So even if it was just getting up and doing that. So I think it would be awesome for any business owner to just kind of say, hey, it's accountability, right? So yeah, you can tell yourself that you need to stand up, but what if you had a team member that told you to do it?
I don't know if I would know how to respond to that. I'd be like, are you serious?
I'll text you, Dana, and be like, hey, make sure you're getting up out of your desk.
Well, and I do rely on technology. So my watch, I have it set up to remind me to stand if I have not moved in an hour or 2 hours, something like that. It will tell me time to stand up and move. And then since you are talking about apps and things, one of my favorite ones right now is called Fit On, and I will link this in the show notes. There is no affiliation. I don't get any money for this, so you can check it out. Peace of mind that I'm not making any money off of this. I just genuinely love this app. It's called Fit On, and it has 5 to 7 minutes maybe, but they're desk workouts where they help you stretch, stand, and clear your mind a little bit. I've tested a couple of them out during the day, and it definitely helps, because I've started going to the chiropractor, and they're like, that was the biggest thing that was focused on when my x-rays and when they're doing the analysis is obviously I work at a desk because my neck is straight. It's supposed to have a natural curve to it, and it doesn't have that because I work at a desk and I'm constantly straining forward to see my computer. So I've incorporated these things, and it was definitely difficult to get into the habit, but stretching and taking those few breathing moments to back up and reframe myself has made a big difference. And then having that open door policy and the support that you've kind of talked about throughout this episode and previous episodes of having that like-minded, everyone's balance is different. Everyone is seeking that work-life balance, the perfection thing, but that's different for everyone. And that's why it's so hard to really obtain, because I would say majority of us are trying to chase someone else's balance. Balance to me is recording this dang podcast and not have my children walk in the room. But then once I'm done recording the podcast, I can take my laptop into the living room or the kitchen and work beside them if I want to and need to, because they need time with me and I have the ability to do that. That's the balance that I seek. While I'm uploading or downloading a gallery of 900 images for a wedding planner, that takes about 10 minutes to do. Well, I can go quickly swap the laundry or something. That's balance to me. And so by the end of the day, I feel like I've met my personal and professional goals, and I don't feel like, oh, I got my work done, so now my home life work begins. No, I want to be done with both at a certain time of day. and that's my balance. But that's not Sarah's balance. She's shaking her head at me. You guys can't see that. That's not our audience's balance. So you had to, one, figure out what that balance is, what stresses are stemming from it, just to kind of recap, which areas are causing you tension, which ones are causing you to have a mood swing, or like, what are you least motivated on these to-do lists? And then dive into the roles and responsibilities and how you can hire someone, even if it's for an hour a day, to just take it completely off of your plate. Or find a neighbor or friend to come over and hang out with your kids so they're still getting the attention that you feel they deserve, but now you can focus 100% on completing a task on your business to help it propel forward.
Well, we thank you all for tuning in today, and we're so excited that you all have been on this journey with us. So wherever you are, don't forget to subscribe, and which you can get those notifications sent to your phone. And as always, all the information is in the show notes. Until next time.
Until next time. Thanks for tuning in to another episode. Remember, soft skills aren't just some fluffy buzzwords that get thrown around in the corporate world. They're the key to unlocking your full potential as a professional and a human being. Don't be afraid to invest in yourself and seek out opportunities to improve your soft skills. Sarah and I have a variety of workshops, online courses, and complimentary clarity calls for you to practice in real time with us. Links are always in the show notes. And be sure to join us next time for more insights, tips, and tricks to help you succeed in your entrepreneur encounter.